Good morning. Happy Tuesday. We're going to continue on talking about Fort Huachuca because either I'm an asshole or I love Freeman. And if you think these discussions have been about Freeman, well, you're pretty dumb. Or I find this particular aspect of the law very interesting, and I am desperately trying to help you guys understand it as well. It was brought to my attention, and I think it's interesting and important, but not entirely convincing. Army Regs 190-13, Chapter 6 deal with restricted areas, and they do have to be posted according to the Army Regs. And Fort Huachuca is an Army base, and it wasn't posted, so that is interesting for Mr. Freeman. But I think we could still tackle this on a broader, more universal scale. Let's talk about, we were talking yesterday about the strict scrutiny clause, or the strict scrutiny First Amendment test. You have to remember 18 U.S.C. 795 is not a time, place, or manner restriction. It is a blanket, you cannot take pictures of these things kind of statement. So it would be a strict scrutiny analysis. And in order for it to be strict scrutiny, there has to be a compelling government interest. And I would need someone to explain to me what is compelling about not having people take pictures of walls of a base. What's compelling about that? Now you have to remember that Google already has taken pictures of all these walls. There are Google satellite images of Fort Huachuca and other military bases. Now you can't get that close, not close enough to see detail, but what is compelling about not having people take pictures of those walls? I'm sure I'm going to get a bunch of knuckle draggers in here telling me stupid things about, oh, it's a restricted area and they might be able to figure out patterns of stuff, patterns of security. Well, guess what? Security patterns are always going to be available. That's just the way it is. It's outside. People can just sit there and watch. You understand that, right? People can just sit there and watch. They don't have to take pictures. They could just sit there and watch. They could write notes. 4:15, guard 1 leaves. 4:20, guard 3 comes. 8:30, guard 2 leaves. 8:35, guard 4 comes. They can just take notes. What's compelling about having the government not allow you to take pictures of the walls and the gates of a military base? I submit to you that there is nothing compelling about that. Now, there is something compelling about not allowing people to take pictures of, I don't know, submarine engines or blueprints for nuclear warheads. There are compelling things about that. But I hate to break this to you, our enemies already know how to make walls. Our enemies already know how to man guard posts and allow people in and out of gates. This is not a compelling interest. Number 2 on the list of things for strict scrutiny is it has to be narrowly tailored. It has to be the least restrictive alternative. In fact, it has to be the least restrictive alternative. If the government has to spend a bunch of money to make a less restrictive way of protecting their national interests, then they have to do that. It has to literally be the least restrictive way. Hold on. All right, so it has to be the least restrictive way. Is there a less restrictive way of preventing people from filming the walls and gate of Fort Huachuca? Absolutely. Build another set of walls and another set of gates around it. Problem solved. Oh, Oh wait, there probably is a second set of walls and a second gate inside. I don't know. There probably are further checkpoints inside. There probably are further defenses, perimeter defenses inside. But that would be a less restrictive way than to say you can't film this particular wall or that particular gate. Make another one in front of them that blocks the view. It has to be the least restrictive. You might think it's retarded. You might think that it's kind of ridiculous to require the government to have two gates, one behind the other, and two sets of walls, one behind the other. But if it is, and it's not, but if it is a compelling government interest to not have the walls and gate of Fort Huachuca or any other fort filmed, videotaped, recorded, videographed, sketched, whatever, the less restrictive way would be to put something in front of it to block the view. And finally, on that strict scrutiny analysis, we're going to look at public policy, which isn't really a strict scrutiny analysis, but it is a thing. We have to wonder why it is okay for the Google van to take pictures of the gate. We have to wonder why it's okay for people with dash cams to take pictures of the gate, when it's not okay for James Freeman to take pictures of the gate. Now, I understand the argument. He's an asshole. I agree with that argument. He's an asshole. But at the end of the day, being an asshole in and of itself is not a crime. It is not a crime to be an asshole. Sometimes being an asshole can make you do or say things that are crimes. Like if you threaten a government official or something, making criminal threats, breaching the peace or disturbing the disorderly conduct or whatever. There might be other laws that you can run afoul of by being an asshole, but just being an asshole in and of itself is not a crime. So if you are incapable of divorcing James Freeman from this particular scenario, I don't pity you, but I should pity you. I'm an attorney. I don't have feelings, but I should pity you. And if you were celebrating me hating James Freeman this entire time and expecting me to come up with some sort of a different analysis, well, there's a fucking playlist on Fort Huachuca and James Freeman. I have stated from the beginning that I don't believe that James Freeman has committed a crime. And my position from the beginning has been based on 18 USC 795 and Executive Order 10104. This isn't my personal feelings for James Freeman don't come into play in my legal analysis. And if they come into play for you, well, then you're going to be wrong most of the time in your analysis. Because that judge doesn't know Freeman. That judge doesn't hate Freeman. And that judge has a duty to make an unbiased decision. Now, it can come into play. I mean, if Freeman's a real asshat in court, and there is evidence that he may have been, then on a wobbler, on a 50-50 even split, that being an asshole might come into play. But generally speaking, on a 60-40, the 60 is going to win, whether or not Freeman's been an asshole. And that's what I am also trying to do, is I'm trying to be neutral. I'm trying to be unbiased. I'm trying to look at the law like the law. And if you're not here for that, well, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. Have a great day.